and welcome to Let Us Farm. My name is Emily Fonwell Oge of Let Us Farm. So today we shall be talking about what causes major catfish diseases and how to prevent these diseases from happening. So just sit back and relax as we talk about this. But remember, if you are having any problem in your farm whatsoever, just try and do a 2 to 3 minutes video of this problem and send it to 081-353-48909. When I look at these videos, I will be able to give you a free of charge solution to solving this problem. Remember, I will never ask you for any payment whatsoever. So everything I'm doing is just to help you out of any situation you find yourself. So I'll be right back to discuss what causes the major catfish diseases and how to solve this problem and make your catfish a successful farm. I'll be right back. Welcome back. So what we're talking about is what causes the major catfish diseases. Now in catfish, we have one of the major diseases in catfish is bacterial infection. So it can be microbial, it cannot be microbial, but generally it's bacterial infection. That's the most common problems in catfish farming. So it can come in any form. It can come in any form. It can come in any form. But the major thing that causes this disease in catfish is contaminated water. The reason is that anything inside water is supposed to be clean and pure. In fact, one of the things that lives the longest cancer-free in this life is your white shark. Reason is that they live deep down the ocean, the cleanest of the cleanest part of the water. This is where they live. So for that, they are always constantly clean. So they don't have sicknesses. So if you compare what lives on the land and what lives inside the water, what lives inside the water actually outlives more than what lives on land, because most times inside the water it's clean. Now for catfish farming, it's still the same route. So if you want your catfish to be disease free, the major thing is that you have to work on your water. So if you don't have contamination in the water, your catfishes are going to live disease free. So I always say this: anytime you come to your pond and you notice that there is a problem in your pond, that your catfishes are dying, the first thing you have to do is to pump out all the water in your farm. So when you pump out all the water and pump in new clean water, what you just did is like you just flipped your farm. So it is after that you can now start to look inwards to understand what is causing the problem in the farm. Like many people always ask me that, okay, if their fishes die, should they leave it on the water or should they remove it? Kindly remove it from the water. Reason is that when the fishes die, this water actually sweeps through the fish. So it goes into the mouth, comes out through other parts of the fish. So meaning that if there's anything wrong with that fish, you are still passing it around to other fishes in the pond. So it's not always good to leave your catfishes dead and floating in the pond. I mean, there's nothing it's doing there. So if you are operating an earthen pond that is very big and the risk of changing the water, you are having a problem, what you do is use a sieve, put it in a long stick, remove that fish that died. Then after you do your flow through, this will help you a great way. Remember, in your earthen pond, the pond has its natural nitrogen recycle system that purifies your water. But because it has this, you don't need to overlabor this system by putting in things that contaminates this system. Because most times, some earthen ponds fail. Yes, there are some earthen ponds that fail to recycle the water. Not that the natural system is not active, but because what you are adding to contaminate the system is now making the system weak, not to be able to perform to what it's supposed to perform. So it now makes it that the system of recycling will now take more time. So what's supposed to happen in 24 hours now happens in 48 hours. During that period of delay, your fishes may enter a very severe situation. Now, on your tarpaulin pond, on your rubber tanks and everything, water contamination remains the biggest challenge. It is from water contamination that has every multiple sicknesses that come. Let me give you an example. If a fish is cannibalized, and it has the skin exposed to the water because of cannibalism, naturally that skin is not supposed to have any issue. The catfish is supposed to heal on its own naturally. But if the water is contaminated, if it has contamination in it, now what happens is that those contamination will infect that particular exposure on your catfish skin, and that leads to rot of that place, may lead to fin rot or other infection on the catfish skin. That thing is what may likely lead to your fishes dying. You have seen fishes with big stomach. What do you think that caused it? It is the water that is contaminated that passes through the fish that will make the gill to rot, that the fishes will have a breathing problem that leads to that thing you are looking at. And that is another problem on its own. So basically, what will make you to have a catfish free from disease and sickness is to manage your water, to always keep it clean. But there's a problem here. Managing your water to keep it clean doesn't mean that you change the water in your pond every day. Wrong. Some people will say, oh, we change it and we are seeing results. How do you know you are seeing results? I've said this in some places. Some people say, no, it's not true. We are seeing results. We even sold our catfishes. They are big. Really? Look at somebody having the same amount of fish you are having, feeding the same way you are feeding. Compare both of your results and you will know if you are doing well. That's when you know if you are doing well. Because the problem is that most catfish farmers doesn't even understand what it means to make profit in catfish sickness, disease, catfish business. They don't even know what it means to make profit. They always look at it that when you invest 100 naira and after sales you have 110, 120 naira, they say they make profit. But this is far from truth. That's a big loss. But they don't know, because they just, just change of money hand to hand. They think they make profit. But you're making a loss because you don't even understand the business, and your ignorance will not allow you to listen to people and gain knowledge. No, you just want to keep arguing and arguing and arguing. But what happens is that most times you do it for 2-3 times, the business collapses. So now, what leads to this contamination? One of the most important things that lead to fish contamination is overcrowded fish. This is where people get it very wrong. This is where you're telling somebody that a 10 by 10 by 4 is supposed to take 100 cat or 120 catfishes to get to a good level of 1 kg and above. He tells you no, that it's going to take 1,000 fishes because he has seen it online and he has seen people doing it. What the same person doesn't understand is that when it comes to sales or when it comes to results, you check how many have died because you overstocked. You check how many did not grow well because you overstocked. And you see how many that at the end of the day they lost weight because you overstocked. Compare it to that person that did not overstock but stock what is supposed to stock. That person, the fishes are disease free, they gain more weight, they feed very well, their level of growth is almost the same thing on average during sales, and it makes very high turnover. It makes 80 to 90% return on investment. But you are struggling to recoup the money that you made in the business. So you don't find out now that there is a problem here, that something is wrong here. They keep doing the same thing every time. So if you want to avert sicknesses in your pond, if you want to avert diseases in your pond, watch out for your water contamination. Make sure that the pond in your water is never contaminated. And how do you do this? You do it by making sure you stock the number of fishes that are supposed to be in the pond. If you're having problem about stocking density, just send me a message to 081 3534 8909. Tell me what is the length, what is the breadth, and what is the depth of your pond. With this, I will give you a free analysis of what you're supposed to stock. But if you believe it, you don't believe it, that's not my problem. I will only do, just to assist you by telling you what you're supposed to do. Whether you do that or you don't do that, I will never ask you. That's your own problem. Yeah, because I have my own problem. So I have to solve my situations before any other thing. So this is what causes the first problem of water contamination. Then the second issue that will not keep your water clean is how you manage your water. People say they have water crisis. They stay 5 days, 2 weeks before changing water. Very wrong. You are supposed to change your water every 2 days, not every day. You have excess water, start changing every day is wrong. Because when you do it, you increase the stress level in your catfish. You won't see what I'm saying now, but when you want to sell, you see the result. So change your water every 2 days. This keeps your fishes at a normal par. Then if you're having situations that, okay, sometimes your water gets dirty easily, and then you discover that you did not overstock your pond, but it gets dirty easily, watch how you feed. If you're somebody that just go there, just heap feed anyhow, when your fishes are not responding to feed, automatically your fishes are going to get dirty. The water is going to get dirty and contaminated immediately. Now you may say, why is my feed contaminating the water? Remember, each feed is manufactured from either feed particles, nutrients, all these things are grinded together. So when they are grinded together and molded as food, if you put them in water, they dissolve. So when they dissolve, you now see oil floating on your water, minerals they use in processing the feed, everything floats in the water and contaminates the water. Now when they contaminate the water, the fish takes it in. So if the fish takes it in, it may actually destroy part of the system of the fish. But if it doesn't, and there's any fish with any skin exposure, it may harm the fish. And that's how you have too many sicknesses coming out in a pond when there's not supposed to be any. So if you are able to manage the water in your pond and they are always looking good. Now, some people are talking about the algae in your pond. I'm still using this opportunity to tell you that the algae is not your problem. The algae doesn't have any effect on your catfish. Some will say, oh, when the algae came, the fish started dying. That's not true. Look at other parameters, not the algae. Do you know that many people actually drink algae? Yes. You may never have heard this. You may never know before, but many people, majority of people that drink water from a tank drink algae. Because most algae forms anywhere there is sun reflection on water stored in any container. Just like if you have like a blue jerry can or yellow jerry can or even a white jerry can, put water in it, keep it outside for a long time. Once there is air entering it, that oxygen entering that water, before you know, there's algae formation there. So many people that have their water tanks outside their compound, mounted outside the compound, and there is oxygen entering that water that is stored there, you are drinking algae. Because if you enter inside that tank, you see that there's algae formation. But why is it that that algae doesn't affect you? Because it's clean. So that's why sometimes, once in a while, you tell the plumber, go and clean it off. So you that have a catfish farm, what you do is, before you stock your catfish, make sure your pond is very neat, free from algae. Then when the algae forms, it's not your problem. But then some people, because they have this feeling that is a problem, what you can do is that you can still wash your pond even when the fishes are there and the algae is there. All you have to do is to avoid detergent, and then do not drain all the water completely. When the water is like low, you allow water to start coming in as you keep on washing. So when you do it like that, systematically like that, I have a video I did on it, on how to do it, so you can go and watch the video and understand how to do the washing, and there's no issue. So this is how to keep your water, to keep your fishes disease free. Once you have a healthy, clean environment, your fishes will never fall sick. So if your fish water is not contaminated, you don't have any business with your fishes falling sick. If you have any questions or suggestions on this, kindly use this comment section. And if you have any topic you want me to discuss, use the comment section. Until I come your way next time, my name is Emelefon Oge of Leros Farm. Keep farming, see way of life.